Well, I've been a fan of Boston Celtics for, my whole life pretty much.
First Celtics game was back when I was like 7.
The Boston Celtics became legendary.
This is ridiculous.
Call for a personal foul.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
The Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Up on down. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
I don't know. It's tough. Tom's up there, man.
What is going on YouTube? It is your boy Jess Almeida here on YouTube and on Beantown Takes, and today we are reacting to Kristaps Porzingis being introduced to the Boston Celtics today. Rumor has it that he's going to be wearing number 8. Shout out to GRD. He was the first one to have that. Excited to see them introduce Porzingis to the Celtics nation. This was a deal that needed to be happen in order for us to get Banner 18. As much as it hurts Celtics nation to lose Marcus Smart, the Celtics just simply needed something drastic to happen. And honestly, just a swap for Smart and Porzingis is a huge one. If Porzingis can give us 55 games on the floor this year, for the regular season at least, and then be healthy for the entire postseason, that is a W trade for the Celtics. I can't wait to see what he has to say, because this was his preferred destination out of every other team that could have got him. So we'll see what he has to say on Boston and how excited he is to be here and play for the green and white. Leave the thumbs up if you guys enjoy these videos. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. The link's in the description down below. And now we wait until the live feed of Kristaps Porzingis being introduced to Celtics family. All right, here we go.
There you go. Yep.
I gotta get a picture too. No, it's blurry.
Okay, thanks guys.
I'll have to get it later on.
Obviously, we're excited to welcome Kristaps and excited to have him here. He's been here the last couple of days. Gotten through all of the
Let me turn up the quality.
things you have to
hold on. Hang on 1 second, guys. Let me turn up the quality for you real
to
quick.
go through as part of a trade, and thrilled that he's here. I talked about him a lot the other night, so I'll let him talk more today, and let Joe add on as well. But
Questions? Hand in the air, we'll get your microphone.
So, Kristaps, just your thoughts for, when you first heard that the Celtics were interested. It's been reported that this was a team that you wanted to join.
Correct. Very excited when I first heard the news, and it was a pretty easy decision for me. Yeah, not much else to say.
I mean, look at the roster up and down still. Even without Smart, you can still look at the roster up and down.
Brad,
this roster's
is
still
there any
insane.
kind of extension or anything like that to announce? Is that something that's being worked on?
no, we'll have a chance to talk here in the next couple of days or next weeks or whatever it is. But, obviously we really like Kristaps. We want him here. We'll obviously have him next year and then hopefully beyond, but we'll see all that.
Good.
Kristaps, Tim Modest from ESPN.
Like the sounds of that.
You said it was a pretty easy decision to choose to come to the Celtics. This is obviously the best team you've ever been a part of. Chance to go deep in the
Fact.
playoffs, something you really haven't had a chance to do. How excited are you about the possibilities with this group in terms of achieving those kind of goals? And where do you sort of see yourself fitting into what obviously is a team that's had a ton of success the past few years?
Yeah, exactly as you said. The opportunity to play for a really good team already, and to be able to add to that, and hopefully to help these guys make their life even easier, and just being on a high level organization like Boston, historic franchise, iconic franchise, made it extremely easy for me to make that decision.
Right.
I was wondering how much of the Celtics you got to see during the playoffs, and if so, what were your observations?
Honestly, not a lot. I saw maybe a couple of games of the Eastern Conference Finals. I was in a different time zone. but now I'm gonna have to look into it more. I'm gonna watch the games and you know it's.
You're playing the
Postseason is always much more fun to see
what you're
the
saying
adjustments
now.
for each game and things like that. So
Twisted your
I'm
words
gonna have
around
to
a
do
little bit.
some homework this summer for sure.
Hey, Kristaps, welcome. I was curious, you know, you played with Luka in Dallas, you played with Bradley Beal in Washington. What did you learn during those 2 stops about playing with other stars? Because you will be playing with Jalen, Jason
good question.
here. For Joe, how do you see Kristaps fitting in next to those 2, given his, you know, high usage in other spots?
For me, yeah, as I said,
He wanted to answer first.
I want to come here to make life easier for those guys. You know, hopefully with my skill set and my talent, I can take some pressure off of those guys.
Yep.
And that's it. I come here to try to make this team better, and I'm excited to play with such high-level guys that have been there from year to year. You know, and have that experience already. So I think it could be a great combination.
And like, you know, you just have to have a balancing, and it's a balance of how we want to play. And I think those guys have gotten better in their careers of playing together and playing as a team. And I think that was one of the strengths we had this year, was we were able to take advantage of our roster and of our depth. And with Kristaps coming in, that's a piece for us that, you know, we can implement into our system and our identity.
Yep.
Kristaps is actually two questions. The first one, what is something that Celtics fans should know about you that they don't know right now? And the second one, I saw you're wearing number 8. Clearly number 6 was not going to work here or anywhere else in the league. Why did you choose to wear number 8 as a Celtic?
Honestly, it doesn't have much meaning behind it. It was just a couple numbers available, single-digit numbers. So it was between 4 and 8, and I just went with 8. And then the first part was something that Celtic fans doesn't know about me. Good question. I'm gonna have to think about that. We'll come back to this.
I'll ask it again in a few.
Cool.
Perfect. Yeah, no pressure, no pressure. No worries about it. First day of the job, so we don't need an answer right now.
Because last year you had...
Hopefully New England Pictures set it up. But hopefully New England Pictures can set up a public autograph signing for Porzingis. I will be there, and I will make sure I get back to that question with him.
Career year numbers in Washington. How comfortable were you? How healthy were you? And are you? Do you think you're entering your prime here?
I do. I think these are the best years for a basketball player. You're physically there, and you're mentally, you know, really getting to a different level. And I think the work paid off for me. I looked at my game. I looked at how I can be more efficient, and just really analyzed myself. And it paid off last season. And all the work that I put in off the court to stay healthy. My body my body also maturing and just you know, getting to that age helped. And I believe I have some great high-level years ahead of me.
How motivating is it that the organization is bringing you in, viewing you as the piece that puts them over the top in their championship pursuit?
How motivating is that?
Correct.
Yeah, it's the most like exciting feeling that you can get, you know?
Should be an
Just
honor.
The idea of that, you know, it's that's why, as I said, it just made it super easy, and it made my complete like favorite option that was to come here to Boston. And that fire that I got from that idea just is gonna gas me up for the rest of the summer and for my time being here.
And then defensively, what are your
Love
thoughts
that
about
answer.
pairing
I
with
absolutely
Robert
love that
Williams and Al
answer.
Horford, respectively?
Defensively? Yeah, those guys are already high-level defensive players, and both are really good protecting the rim. I'm gonna be out there also protecting the rim.
Yep.
And those guards that are on the team, guards and forwards, everybody that are on the team, I think they're all like dogs.
Brogdon,
And they're going to make life even
Brown's
easier
gonna be a
for
shooting guard
us
now.
defensively as the bigs, you know, because they're going to put even more pressure on the guards when they're driving by them and stuff like that. So I think this is a special team that I'm going to be able to join.
Yep. Good answer.
It's been a few years since you've played in the playoffs. Why do you think it didn't go as well as usually played in the regular season last time around? And what have you learned over the years about how you can thrive in kind of more physical game like that?
Why it didn't go so well in the playoffs, you're saying?
Yeah, and why do you think you'll be ready for it this time around?
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be ready, you know? Who knows? But I'm going to do everything I can to help this team. I'm going to be, I have a taste of it, right? I have a taste of it, and I know what it's like. The first playoff series were really good. Just didn't have luck. And second one was a different style, different kind. So, and each series is completely different. So I'm going to have to be ready for any kind of scenario. And as the year goes along, it's, you know, we're gonna in the regular season, we're gonna find that rhythm. We're gonna find, you know, that chemistry, and that's gonna carry us into the playoffs.
Yep. They didn't have that this year.
Kristaps, you mentioned at this point in your career being at a different level mentally. What kind of does that look like for you? What are you maybe seeing or noticing in that part of your game as it evolves?
I think it just comes with experience. Experience and knowing yourself, knowing your body, knowing the game. Everything slows down. And things start to click more and more the older you get, you know, and you always like look back, oh, I was so, even just talking about life, not just basketball, oh, I was so dumb when I was 21. And then you get 25, or now I'm 27, I'm thinking, man, I was dumb a couple of years ago.
You know what?
So it's
you
always
took the
like
words
this.
right
You're
out of my
always
mouth. I was
evolving,
just
and
about to say
evolving as a basketball
maturity.
player also, so probably
So
I'll
he
be
was
a much
thinking
better
exactly
player by
what I was
30
just
than I am now, you know. So I'm looking forward to keeping that growth and keep getting better as a basketball player.
And Brad, with free agency starting tomorrow, what you know, I know you can't speak in specifics, but what are kind of the goals and points of emphasis as you look to round out the roster?
Playmaking point guard.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we just want
Possibly
to
a
keep
replacement for
you know, obviously
Grant
we
Williams.
want everybody that comes here to understand what the ultimate goal is, right? And everybody that is a part of this group to understand what the ultimate goal is, and that's to put all of our strengths together. And
Did he say people
and
who
try to
know
win
what
it
the
all.
ultimate goal is?
And so every decision we make,
That's a better answer, actually.
will be with that as kind of the North Star.
Somebody who wants to go
I
for
think
it all.
that It's very
And
obvious
will do whatever
we've
it
got
takes.
a
That's a
great
good
core
answer,
of
too.
players that people will want to play with and want to be around, and we just have to find accentuators, you know, people that accentuate that group. And we've talked about that in the past, and I thought last year's team, we had a lot of that. And I think this, you know, as we sit here right now with who we have under contract and what our, you know, potential avenues are, you know, I think we'll be able to have that again.
Hey, Joe, when this trade went through, one of the first things that got fired up on social media was the highlights of his game against you guys at the end of the season last year. How difficult was it coaching against him? And how are you going to implement his unique ability to score in the post into what you guys do each night?
Get him the ball in the
More
post.
options.
And you know, obviously, every year when you have
Something other
a different
than
team, you have to do things
shooting a
that, you know, play
three-pointer.
to the strengths of that team. And so, the addition of Kristaps will help us, I think, on our post. It will help us against
Zone defenses.
specific defenses that we may have had
Yeah,
trouble with in the
Miami.
past, and give us just a different look, which I think is important. You know, to continue to make these deep runs is to be a dynamic team. And then, yeah, that game, I remember that very vividly. It was a very difficult game for us on both ends of the floor.
Kristaps, you obviously had an option decision to make as part of this trade, and obviously there were a couple iterations of it. It got up close to the deadline for you have to decide which way that was going to go. I was just curious what was sort of that night like for you as you were waiting for this to play out and see if you were going to wind up in Boston or not, and you know, sort of what were the emotions like as that day went along and then when the trade
If I had to
got
guess,
done.
he was opting in regardless.
No, it was a crazy day for me. I was about to go to sleep, and then I heard the news that the trade
I don't
didn't
think
go
the
through.
opt-in was the hold
So
up.
that kept me up for a little bit longer. But then by like 4 a.m. back home, I was like, okay, I'll go to sleep and see what happens. I wake up in the morning, and I saw that it happened. The trade happened, and I was just extremely excited and extremely happy.
Yeah, Bob Schwan, Palmer Journal. Joe, last year you
Coach, and also Kristaps. Last year you spoke repeatedly about the strength of the locker room. Now Marcus was one of the team leaders, and that's a void that you're going to obviously need to address and ask you that. And then Kristaps, you were with the team last year where obviously you demonstrated much more leadership last season. Can you guys talk about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't know
issue,
that
please?
because I don't watch
No, you're absolutely right.
Wizards basketball.
You know, he was a very important piece of the locker room to the city.
Indeed.
And, you know, I think a strength of his was the ability to have an impact on and off the floor. And so that'll be missed. At the same time, we're bringing in Kristaps, who, from a personality standpoint, brings a lot of the same characteristics to where he works hard on the court, but he's also a guy that carries himself very well off the floor. And so I think that's important. And, you know, the most important thing in our locker room is that whoever's on our team, we have a group of guys that share the same values and wanting to win and wanting to do it together. And that's what we have to build upon. And
I can see Smart being back
like
in
I said,
someday,
Chris,
like
it's
Al
important for
Horford,
us,
like an Al
for me,
Horford
really, when
situation,
they're learning
something
about
like
our
that.
players, that they're just as good as basketball players and people. And so I think Kristaps will, you know, make our team better, but I think he'll make our locker room better as well.
I didn't know Kristaps was like one of the high
Kristaps,
vocal.
you began your
leaders in
career in New York,
the Wizards
obviously a high
locker
pick,
room.
a lot of pressure.
That's a good
kind of
thing,
considered
actually.
a cornerstone. How did that change
I
you
didn't
those
know
years
that.
with the Knicks? How did that mature you? Did it mature you quickly, too quickly? What was that stretch like, and has that affected your career throughout your career?
Yeah, of course. You know, I got drafted to one of the biggest stages, if not the biggest, and I had to learn a lot quickly. But yeah, I mean, it prepared me for anything almost, you know, in the league, and now getting traded to Boston, it kind of made me realize how much I missed being in like on a big stage, you know.
Right.
And that's not like Dallas was great, of course, and Washington was great also, but I feel like this is a different level, different level of excitement and how good the team is and all of that. So, so yeah, I think New York helped me tremendously growing up and being prepared for almost any situation.
Shout
that you
out to
can be in
Boston.
the NBA.
There's no sports town like Boston.
Kristaps, you spoke about wanting to make life easier for guys like Jalen and Jason. I'm curious how having guys that can score like that will make life easier for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. It will make it much easier. The same way last year, you know, playing with Brad and Kuz, they helped me, but and same way Jason and Jalen, you know, they're super high level guys.
That team was not a playoff
they're gonna
That's
pretty much
crazy.
have the whole team,
Or at least a
the
play-in.
opposite team, all of their attention is going to be on them, and that might make me offensively much more open. And I look forward to hopefully doing the same back to them and drawing some attention, as I said. So, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of time until we find that chemistry on the floor, and it's gonna be it could be a very good mix for sure.
It's a question for Brad. You obviously adding a key piece here in Porzingis, but you know, adding a significant addition to from a salary standpoint for the payroll here. What is your flexibility heading into free agency here? You still have a green light to continually adding to this roster. You guys in a good spot at that point, and what are the challenges now of dealing with the new CBA and the kind of limitations that might be put on you guys on that front?
No, I mean, we're really lucky. We've got the green light, right, to continue to add. I think the biggest part for us
Good
is
on the
making sure
ownership.
that we
Good on the ownership.
are, you know, smart about building a team, right? And obviously you're always looking at it from the standpoint of, you know, this year, but also down the road. But I do think that, you know, again, we're fortunate that, you know, we were deep into the tax last year. We'll, you know, be into it this year and have the green light to continue to do it. We just want to be building a team that makes sense playing together.
Good.
And
Ooh, I love
you
this
know,
owner staff.
Sometimes
This owner
that
staff
means
knows what they're
spending more,
doing.
and sometimes that means figuring out that you've got the guys to build around and then putting the right people around them, right? And so that's the
Don't
challenge
take your foot
here,
off the gas pedal.
moving
When you
forward
have
over
a
the next
future,
few weeks.
and you have a potential to win a
Right, wanna add
championship
to
year in
that,
and year
you know,
out, keep
given
on
some of
pushing the
penalties
gas.
that are in there from a CBA perspective, long term, to adding 3 stars together like you guys have now. What still led you to say this is the route we need to go as a team here?
Listen, we're trying to win, and everybody's
Point-blank
very
period,
supportive
simple.
of that from top down. Starts with Wick and Pags and our ownership group, and we're trying to win, and we're going to try to do the best to put our best foot forward to do that. The required part of that is the right talent to build around it, and we're very fortunate to have a lot of talented players. Obviously, Kristaps is sitting up here. Jason and Jalen have been mentioned a ton. We've talked about Al and Rob. We haven't even mentioned Derek and Malcolm, right? And Peyton. We've got guys that are under contract here that are really, really good players. And so building a team around that all fits together in our best
Interesting that he
way
just
we can is
mentioned
what,
Malcolm.
what we're trying to do. And
So is he going to
it's
stick
about
around, or? All right, that's going to do it for this video here. Leave thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe now if you guys are new. You guys know what to do. Go check out our website. The link's in the description down below. Welcome to Boston, Kristaps Porzingis. Glad to have you. Can't wait to see what you do on the court for us. And hopefully, you bring us Banner 18. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys love Porzingis here already. You guys hate it. You guys neutral on it. Let me know in the comment section down below. It's been your boy Jesse, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.